Hey, how's it going? Hunter with True Homes Photography here, and today I'm going to show you how I edit my Twilight shots. Alright, so I've got my raw file loaded up into Lightroom, and I just want to show you real quick what we're going to be transforming it into. This is going to be the final product that I deliver to the client, and you know, it's pretty nice. It has that really nice sky in the background. You got some nice yellows from the interior. Overall, I think it's a really nice shot for a real estate listing. Alright, so I'm back on my raw file. And the first thing you want to do before you edit anything else is you want to make sure you come down here to this lens corrections tab and go ahead and click these two boxes. You want to enable your profile corrections and remove chromatic aberrations. And then I'm going to go up and I'm going to start white balancing and doing some simple adjustments. But before I edit my white balance, I want to check out one thing. So if you look up here in the sky, it's empty. There's nothing there. You know, that's pretty boring. I want to add something exciting. Something cool with some nice colors and clouds. So I have this shot over here, and I want to match my white balance to this shot, because if you don't, it's going to be very obvious that you replaced the sky. You want your raw file to match the sky. So what we can see here is a lot of purple hues, and it's pretty cool. So I'm back on my raw file, and I'm just going to pull down my warmth a little bit. I'm going to come down. That looks pretty good. And I'm actually just going to add a little bit of green to it. Not much, just a little bit. But overall, I think that's pretty close to what that sky is going to look like. And I'm also just going to do some simple adjustments with the highlights and the shadows. Just going to bring down the highlights a little bit, just so like in the light fixtures, you can kind of see some of the details. And I'm also going to add a little bit of shadows. You don't want to increase the shadows too much. You don't want it to look like daylight like this. I do want to bring up the shadows a little bit. I'm also going to adjust my white and black points by holding Option. Alright, and I think I'm just going to adjust the exposure a little bit, just bring it up. I don't want it to be too dark when people print it. And maybe just a bump of clarity. Okay, it looks pretty good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and select both of these files, right click, edit in Adobe Photoshop. Alright, both my files have transferred into Photoshop, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to select my sky replacement, and I'm just going to drag it onto my raw file. Just using Command T, I'm going to stretch it a little bit and bring it up here. Alright, that'll probably be good. We can always adjust that later. And I'm just going to pull that below my raw file. Alright, so it's time to remove the sky. So we're going to come up here to Select and Color Range. So what you want to do is just kind of click anywhere up here in the sky, and you're going to see in this little preview some whites and blacks and grays, and you want everything in the sky to be white. So I'm going to go around holding Shift and just click in different areas and just make sure there's no gray left in the sky, because you will be able to see that. Okay, now once you've selected the entire sky, you just want to adjust the fuzziness. You don't want to go too low, because then in the trees you will see white around the trees. You don't want to go too high with it either, because then you'll start selecting the entire image. So we want to go kind of right in the middle. I'm usually right around here, around 30. And that's pretty good. We got like the window and the walkway, but that's fine. So what I'm going to do now is just take this quick select tool, and I'm going to hold Option, and I'm just going to remove some of these selections on some of these hotspots. And so now I'm going to inverse the selection using Shift Command I, or you can also go up here to Select and Inverse. And I'm going to come in and do Select in Mask. And I have mine selected on layers. That way I can see what I'm doing. And you can see a little bit of outline on this tree up here. So I'm going to take the Shift Edge and just go back a little bit. And it's still there, just a tad. So I'm going to do a few pixels of feather. Alright, there's still a little bit of outline up here in the very top of the tree, but we can just always crop this image a little bit and cut that right out so no one would even see it. Alright, so now we got the selection made, and we're just going to come down here and mask. I'm Okay, now that we have our mask done, we are going to check for any issues with the mask. So what I'm going to do is hit the backslash key. It's going to show me everything that's selected. I'm going to come over to my brush. I'm using 100% flow, 100% opacity, 100% hardness. Just want to fix all these little issues. For the most part, there's just a few hot spots over here, but everything else looks to be good. So now I'm going to hit backslash again. And from here we are done. So I'm going to hit Command S, save it back into Lightroom. Alright, so now I'm back in Lightroom and I'm just going to make a few more adjustments to this image before I export it. I think I want to add a little bit of color to this image, so I'm just going to increase the vibrance just a little bit. If you go too far, just a little too oversaturated. So I'm just going to add a touch of vibrance, brings a little bit of color back into the image, and might just adjust the whites a little bit. Yeah, I mean that looks good to me, and I'm just going to crop this image to get out the little bit of that tree up there. Alright, and here's the final product. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below, and thanks for watching.